Hey everybody, Pat over, Trophy Point Realty Group here. I'm at one of my rental properties that I own, and we are preparing to onboard a Section 8 tenant, basically a housing choice voucher program tenant. A lot of landlords are really scared of Section 8. I found people that love them or hate them. The one thing about it is you want to get ahead of these inspections. They'll do them before a tenant move-in, and they'll do them once a year. And when they come out to inspect, if you don't do well, they're never in a hurry to come out and re-inspect. So that's why I'm out here. Today's Tuesday, Friday's the inspection. And so I already went through and identified some things that I'm gonna have my handyman come in and church up before the inspector comes on Friday. But this is something, if you're getting into Section 8, you can get one of these from HUD's website. We can, we'll throw this up on YouTube, so I'll make sure to put a link to this in the comments. But it's definitely good to get ahead of this stuff. And as long as you do the maintenance like you're supposed to, you know, and any landlord, any rental property, you should be doing maintenance. You should be doing at least a yearly inspection if your tenants are sticking around. So this stuff is not a big deal as long as you stay on top of it. Nothing, in my opinion, really to be scared of. I have found in Section 8 sometimes it's a pain to communicate with the local housing office, basically. So I haven't had too much issues, but sometimes I have to double tap, maybe go to somebody's boss or whatever. But this is just, you know, we're going line by line, and it's really, you know, the place doesn't need to be perfect. You know, there's a little bit of paint or whatever, like they're not looking for that, but they're looking for serviceability. So, you know, I got my little outlet tester here. So we are, you know, going through testing outlets, and they even, you know, on top of the checklist, they even give you an explanation of what they're looking for. So, you know, what are we looking for here? Electricity. You know, we're looking for basically two outlets, right? Both outlets must be working. We're also looking for light fixtures, things like that. So also the bulbs. Now it says right here, be sure light fixture does not fail just because the bulb is burnt out. Just put new bulbs in. It's just make sure there's fresh bulbs. That's what we're basically looking for. So it doesn't say anything here about the outlets, you know, being grounded, right? These outlets are actually not grounded. You can see, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but they are actually not grounded. That's not a big deal. A lot of people, when they do, you know, they're buying a house, especially if they're buying old houses, you know, around Savannah or anywhere where there's old houses, a lot of these outlets will not be grounded because that's not what they did. And people will see the report like, oh my God, they're not grounded, it's the end of the world. It's really not. Look at your TV, how many prongs? It's probably 2. Most of your appliances are probably 2 prong now, and you can you know, buy the code, totally legal, totally legit, to just put everything on a GFI breaker if you don't have it grounded, and it's fine. So ask any home inspector about that, they'll tell you the same thing. So yeah, so we're checking all the outlets, so I won't go through it, but I've already checked all the outlets all throughout the house. We're looking for windows that lock. So these windows here, they have locks. That's a security thing. We're making sure the windows are serviceable. This window here does not have a lock, so I'm going to call my handyman up and say, hey, put a lock on this guy. There's a couple other windows that don't have them. We're also making sure that windows open, especially in bedrooms. It's like a fire thing, right? So you need to be able to get out. On this living room, it doesn't say anything about smoke detectors, right? It does on the bedrooms when we go over there. But yeah, they're just looking, you know, is the floor sound and free from hazardous defects? You know, it's pretty sound to me, pretty solid. Nothing hazardous on it. We go over to the kitchen, looking for a lot of the same stuff. Now the electricity here, this outlet does not need to be, but this outlet should be a GFI outlet, and probably this one as well. And they're actually not. So I tested them, you know, just put a little tester in, click the button, it should pop off, it doesn't. So that's a super easy fix. Cost me like 30 bucks to get GFI going on in there, and that's something I'd want to do for any tenant, just because it is a hazard. Even if you don't care about your tenants at all, you should care about your own liability, at least. So you should also probably care about your tenants. But. So yeah, the sink. So you know, we're testing hot, cold water, you know, boom, all right, we're good. Even though you don't need to have a sprayer, but it's there, so we want to make sure it works. I'm looking for some leaks. Looks good down here, everything's dry. Now my hot water is actually not really rocking and rolling right now, but I think it's because there was a the breaker that was off. So I'm gonna let that heat up for about a half an hour and check it again. We're checking stoves. Right now I got a work order on this stove. Should be getting fixed tomorrow. You know, in regards to the stove, the top burner is present and working. You know, if they're not there, that's a fail. If the tenant is responsible for the appliances, then obviously that's not on the owner, right? But typically, you know, owners are responsible for that. They're going to check whether it works. There is a microwave, so you know. Actually, this wasn't even on the inspection, so I think the microwave doesn't matter. Let's see. No microwave on here. So, but it's here. I want to make sure it works because, you know, my tenants leased this with the expectation of having a working microwave. So, you know, it's a, well, hell, the light's on there. There we go. All right, we're good. Refrigerator, right? That's a requirement. So we gotta make sure it's cold. I'm not gonna put a thermometer in there, but it feels totally adequate. This is just basic stuff, right? Nobody's gonna rent a house without a refrigerator unless that's expressly part of the lease that they were to bring their own. Same thing as every other room. We're checking ceiling, walls. You know, we got, just because there's this little patch job, they didn't do a very good job. I got El Chico contractor on this, but like that's not gonna fail your inspection, right? Just because it doesn't look the most pretty, that's, you know, not a big deal. So that's that. That's most of that in the kitchen. Also, we need space for storage, preparation, and serving of food. I would say we have plenty of that. Looking around, plenty of places to prepare food, to serve it, to store it. No issues that I see. So we're going to bathrooms. I mean, this is all like super simple stuff. Like, you know, in this bathroom, we got, you know, just the sink work, just the toilet work. Is there hot water? Does the bathtub work? You don't technically need a shower, tub or shower, working tub or shower. So either or, you know, does the vent fan, we got a light, you gotta have a permanently attached light. You don't need to have a vent fan, but if there's no vent fan, then there needs to be a window. And by the way, we're checking, here's our lock, right? So everywhere where there's a window, it needs to be able to lock. And then this outlet up here, I got my handyman coming out. There should be an outlet cover on that. That's a safety hazard, and it's also not a GFI outlet. So we're gonna get them to fix both of those issues. And then while we're here, you know, we got any leakage going on, everything looks pretty dry in there. So, you know, too easy. You know, bedrooms, we're looking for smoke detectors. At least one battery operated or hardwired smoke detector, so it doesn't need to be hardwired. I don't have smoke detectors in here, so that's one of the things that we're gonna get in every bedroom. And we'll put a smoke and carbon monoxide in the kitchen as well. I don't think I remember seeing that on the kitchen checklist, which a little surprised to me because I figured it would have to be on there, but it's not on the checklist for the kitchen, so I guess I technically don't need one. So all these bedrooms are all the same. Pretty basic stuff. Really not a big deal. I got on here, I got a couple other window locks from the walkthrough I did before. So yeah, that's no big deal. Other things we're looking for is, you know, general electrical hazards. So like, if you don't have a cover on your panel, that's an electrical hazard, right? So this one has a cover, it's labeled, this is perfectly fine. You know, in here, you know, everything is wired the way it should be. There's no loose wiring hanging out. I'll probably put a cover plate on that guy right there, because that can be construed as an electrical hazard, see that? So I'll get that, you know, churched up. You know, there's no requirement for having a washer or dryer in the unit. This one does. So yeah, I mean, it's not too bad. Now going outside, some things that we'll look for is so heating and plumbing is another thing. So adequacy heating. Our HVAC's good, so no worries there. Water heater. So we're looking at this thing here. Location presents hazard. It means that the gas or oil water heater is located in living areas or closets where safety hazards may exist. So this is a basically a separate utility room. If this was in somebody's bedroom, you know, that would be an issue. This is an electric, so we don't have to worry about venting, things like that. We have no leaks, corrosions. We got a sewer connection. This isn't on a well. I don't know much about wells, so if you're dealing with the well, you know, there's perk tests and other. I do cement. I don't do wells, so ask somebody who does. You got a question about that? When we're checking the foundation, you know, we want to make sure it's not crumbling. We want to have all of our covers for our crawl space, so we just want to clear that off. You know, they're also looking for chipping paint, especially an old house. That relates to lead-based paint. Lead-based paint is really not a hazard unless it's chipping off. I have no idea whether this house has lead-based paint or not. It was built before 1978, so theoretically it may. But what they're going to look for is paint chipping off. Everything's been painted. I'm not huge on the color. This color did not come out the way I envisioned, but it is what it is. I'm not going to put new paint on it now, maybe in a couple years. And so yeah, that's the main thing of it here. So we're going to get all this stuff done. Come Friday when they come to do the inspection, we should be 100% good to go on this rental. So this deal itself was a really good deal for us. We didn't always intend on this being a Section 8. We had a tenant from another place that we sold who we really liked, who needed a place to stay. We basically cut a deal, so pending all the approvals and stuff, she should be moving in here, which is great. But we bought this, it's been too long now, it's been about 3 months since we bought it. We put about $10,000, $12,000 into it. It was mostly done. We basically framed this out. This was an open space. So we enclosed this to get a third bedroom. We did some lighting stuff. Like there used to be, I think it was like a ceiling fan here, and this ceiling is low. So we decided to do can lights. Here we did countertop. These cabinets were here. This is not the style of cabinet that I would choose. But these are already here, and they're actually really high quality cabinets. They were improperly installed, so we spent some money installing them a little better. Countertops. We were going to do granite. I like granite or stone in a rental, believe it or not, just because of the longevity. It's more expensive, but it lasts longer. It really presents a much better product. But my contractor really kind of screwed me. My first one ended up firing him. He never ordered it. So we said, screw it. Laminate is what we went with, and it's fine. These appliances we scavenged from another project that I was working on for a client. He didn't need them, and so we said, hey, how about we take them out for you? So we got some free appliances. We're gonna have to put a little bit of money into this because it doesn't work, but yeah, we bought this thing for $115,000. 10, might be as much as 15 by the time we're all done on the repairs that we did, which weren't super major. So we're all in for $130. We've got a loan. We got a loan from a private individual who lent to us the entire purchase price, $115,000. We covered closing costs, which were like $2,500, and our mortgage payment is, with taxes and insurance, it's around about $800. and we should be getting $1,400 in rent off of this. So good little cash flow deal. We don't have too much money tied up in it, which is great. And this is a neighborhood, like this particular block, all around here, there's like, you know, a couple, you know, drug houses around, you know, like they're actually just over there. And this is a weird part of Savannah where, like, if you go just over there, just a block, you know, we've got another rental over there that's like, you know, about the same size as this, and it's renting for $1,800. Now it's a lot nicer, but like it's just right over there. It's just so much nicer, right over there. Just 2 blocks over that way, you know, you're in East Broad, you're basically in Starland. This is just like the one little pocket, and it's just a couple people. Like most of the neighbors are great, you know, talk to them, whatever. It's just the impact that a couple houses can have on a neighborhood. But we knew, you know, those people aren't going to be there forever. Eventually, somebody's going to buy that house from probably some slumlord running it, not taking care of their investment, you know, not caring about the community. So eventually, that gets bought, that gets fixed up, and you know, this is a long haul kind of investment for us. So we're pretty excited about this deal that we were able to strike.